Welcome into the TGI Friday Fun Astrology Podcast for June 27th. Thomas Miller, thank you so much for joining us. Boy, do we have another interesting thing. You know, I was concerned with the Great Pyramid that there wouldn't be any action to keep us interested here. Oh, far from. My goodness, we have a big shift to two places, the sign of Leo and the planet of Mercury. There is some energy to tune into for your weekend. Let me set the stage. The curtain went up on all of this yesterday afternoon at 3:09 p.m. Eastern. Mercury left Cancer and entered Leo. Mercury did. All right. Now, second act of our play this morning, just about the same time, 12 hours later, 2:05 this morning, the moon left Cancer and entered Leo. So you have Mercury and the moon in Leo. Now, the first thing you have to ask is, are either of those exalted or in detriment or fall? And yes, one, Mercury, as the ruler of Virgo, is in fall in Leo. Now, the other little dynamic that I always observe in astrology is when a planet leaves a sign that it rules, such as the moon leaving Cancer, and it goes to the next sign. Typically, and I know the case with Saturn and Capricorn and Aquarius could be an example, but typically it's a mismatch. So the moon, an emotional, watery, intuitive, nurturing Cancer, left all of that abruptly at 2:05 this morning. In the middle of the night, gets jostled out of bed, the moon does, and thrust into a bombastic fire sign that is not about nurturing, it's rather about performing. And sitting right there at the gate, like a troll under the bridge, is a PO'd Mercury. Now, in light of that, let's talk about the weekend. Well, remember, bada beam, bada boom. So Mercury is going to somehow in this thing hit what? Saturn and Neptune sitting up there at 0 degrees Aries. Well, okay, wait a minute. So Leo is a fire sign, Aries is a fire sign. It must be a trine. Yes. The energy you want to tune into this weekend is to surf this fiery trine between Mercury and the moon, for today at least, and Saturn and Neptune up in Aries. And remember, this is so amazing what's going on in the sky. Saturn and Neptune sitting in the early degrees of Aries both go retrograde. Neptune on the 4th of July, Saturn on the 13th, and then right behind it, Mercury, grumpy Mercury, and it's going to be grumpy because it has to go backwards in Leo, does that on the 18th of July. Saturn and Neptune right now are stronger from that perspective, but Mercury's in hot pursuit. All right, so you high timeline surfers, let's talk about what to do with this. We also have those two yods, the same ones we talked about on Monday. That's with Pluto at the top on one, with Mars and Jupiter's sun at the base. That's powerful. The other one, Mars is on top with Pluto and Saturn Neptune at the base. This is where, the shock value of this, we haven't even talked about Uranus. We won't get to it today, but the whole thing about things changing and revolving and boy, just don't get set with any preconceptions of anything right now because the whole thing could just get shaken. And now let's focus on what to do to surf this beautiful fire trine between three planets that are pretty strong. All right, what do we know about Mercury? The mind, transportation, communications. Let's just do those. We can also talk about neighbors and siblings and stuff like that, but you can dig more Mercury characteristics up on your own. Let's just do the big ones. Combined with the moon, so this can be emotional for us. You can get your emotional energy involved. And because Mercury is going to be dancing around in the early degrees, or at least the first 15 degrees of Leo, that's where it goes retrograde next month, that we are going to be with this for a while. So we might as well get it right. First lesson, because it's grumpy in Leo, be careful how you're putting yourself out there right now. Could be too much. Maybe a little goes a long way. Lower your voice. Let people lean into you more instead of trying to project out to them. Keep these things in mind now. Don't say things that you might regret. This could be a pretty interesting retrograde, actually. Now, how have Saturn and Neptune been behaving so far? What are your observations? Mine are that it has created a lot of conflict. Seen it on the national stage, seen it in my personal life. What are you guys coming up with? What are your friends saying? What are they telling you? What's going on in behind their walls? We know this is a huge war placement. Are we out of the woods on that yet? The chart would indicate not, but maybe so. Hopefully. Pray for it. Absolutely. But let's at least agree on one thing. Conflict over the self. Conflict over the ego. The likelihood of fated challenges and even breakups and separations. Those are the odds. For the purpose of powerful new beginnings in ways to put yourself out there. Do a blink real quick. What is one thing you would do, boom, to change your life, to advance yourself right now? Maybe it's been in your mind, but you've already felt it. You've already heard it. My talking doesn't help. What was that one thing that, boom, I could do this? Surf that. Get busy. Put a plan together. Because the universe will clear out whatever is in the way of that, especially if you're compliant, especially if you're listening and energies separate. That happens all the time. Don't make a big deal of it. Just flow with it, roll with it. Gosh, we could spend so much time on this, and I haven't talked about the squares or the oppositions, but they are there too. So, I don't know. Maybe we need to do something special over the weekend. Maybe I need to get on and do a special live or something like that. And by the way, speaking of, mark down Sunday, July 13th on your calendars, 1 p.m. Eastern. Kristin, Elisa, and I are going to be doing a special free webinar on Saturn in Aries. So if you are having a Saturn return, in other words, your Saturn, your natal birth Saturn is in Aries, I'd like to hear from you. Send me your birth information in the chat bot. Please don't do it on SpeakPipe. Just do it on the chat bot on the funastrology.com website. We're going to pick about 2 or 3, 4 charts to read during this webinar. It will be recorded. It is going to be free. We're going to have a tip jar on the piano. Please come prepared to circulate if you are so moved. But we're going to be doing that live July 13th, 1 p.m. We'll have a registration up on the website by the weekend. I might pop in over the weekend and do something more on this because this is just a treasure trove, and I'm pretty fascinated by it. So as we're learning how to deal with the Great Pyramid, which is going to be with us, 5 years down the road, we'll be able to say, well, you remember the last time Mercury did this. We'll have it down. But the Mercury and Moon combination may not be there again, so we'll talk about it more. Thank you guys so much. Sending you lots of love for a great weekend. Surf that energy. What was your blink? What can I do, boom, right now for me to propel me out there more? Go for it.